on Razortooth News, USAID Exposed. Once thought to be a humanitarian agency, it has now been revealed as a front for Democrat deep state corruption, money laundering, and media manipulation. The facts are staggering, the deception is massive, and the American people are finally waking up. Stay with us. Good evening with Razortooth News, where we cut through the lies. Elon Musk's audit of the U.S. government has pulled back the curtain on a massive Democrat money laundering scheme orchestrated through USAID. This agency, supposedly dedicated to foreign aid, has instead been funneling taxpayer money into Democrat-controlled NGOs, funding radical propaganda and bankrolling globalist elites. The corruption runs deep, and tonight we break it all down. Elon Musk, now heading the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has uncovered a shocking financial trail, one that directly implicates high-ranking Democrat operatives in a multi-billion-dollar slush fund designed to keep them in power. Here's what we know so far. USAID has been redirecting billions of dollars into Democrat-aligned organizations, foreign political groups, and even terrorist-linked entities. $520 million for ESG consultants in Africa, pushing radical leftist ideology abroad, $45 million for DEI scholarships in Burma, bribing global allies $3.25 million to fund the British Broadcasting Corporation, to push anti-American narratives $20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq. Why is American taxpayer money funding foreign propaganda? $27 million for a George Soros-backed prosecutor fund, weaponizing justice against conservatives, $40 million to build schools in Jordan, while U.S. schools crumble $3.7 billion for the Taliban, direct funding for terrorists, $3.4 billion for Yemen, indirectly aiding the Iranian regime. We are seeing some of the worst financial corruption in history. USAID has been a Democrat-run money laundering operation designed to fund political allies, radical activists, and corrupt foreign regimes. This isn't aid, it's theft. But this isn't just about wasteful spending. This is about a deliberate effort to undermine American democracy. Through massive funding of mainstream media outlets, USAID has worked hand-in-hand with the Democrat machine to push propaganda, silence opposition, and rig elections. Politico faces closure after USAID funding is cut, revealing it was government-backed fake news. USAID-funded media targeted Rumble, X, and independent journalism. A clear effort to silence conservative voices. USAID bankrolled corporate media to push Democrat narratives. The deep state at work. The deep state is panicking. As USAID's corruption is dragged into the light, Democrat politicians are scrambling to stop its closure, terrified that their biggest slush fund is collapsing. Why? Because USAID was never about humanitarian aid. It was about money, power, and influence. But it gets even darker. USAID wasn't just pushing leftist agendas, it was actively funding America's enemies. Millions to EcoHealth Alliance, which worked with the Wuhan lab. Direct ties to the origins of COVID-19. Hundreds of thousands of meals sent to Al-Qaeda-linked fighters in Syria, $900 million in humanitarian aid that ended up in terrorist hands. Afghanistan funds fueled Taliban-controlled heroin production. We're putting an end to this corruption. Under my administration, USAID will no longer be a slush fund for the Democrat deep state. Every dollar spent will be accounted for. The era of waste, fraud, and abuse ends now. The backlash has been seismic. Democrats and their globalist allies are in full panic mode, scrambling to defend decades of corruption and deception. But the facts are clear. USAID has been laundering taxpayer money for Democrat elites. USAID has rigged elections through propaganda funding. USAID has directly supported terrorist organizations. It is no longer a question of if USAID will be shut down, but when. The big question now is, will the Washington bureaucrat be held accountable? Will the deep state operatives behind USAID face prosecution? Or will the corrupt establishment try to sweep this under the rug like they always do? We here at Razortooth News will not stop until justice is served, the swamp is drained, and the truth is fully exposed. I'm Razortooth, and this has been Razortooth News, cutting through the deep state lies,